The next stop on our trip out west was Santa Fe. But before we got there, we stopped at a giant meteor crater.
It's the biggest one in the United States. I'm going to give you fun facts, and Nick's going to probably cut this out. But you can fit 20 football stadiums in the bottom and 1 million people in the stands all around. Wow. I know we just saw the Grand Canyon, but this was wild.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy that we went from the Grand Canyon to like a smaller hole in the ground. But it is really interesting. They have like part of the meteor at the visitor center. You can do a tour around the whole thing, but we didn't do that because we just didn't have a bunch of time. So we went around the visitor center a little bit. It's kind of small. There was like an intro movie that kind of talks about how the crater was formed and all that kind of stuff. In the visitor center, there's like a video game that you can play.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I think there's like a couple different ones, but there was like a 2-player video game that Elliot and I played, and then there was, I think this is the one too. Didn't they have the little one where you're trying to land the space thing?
That's the one that you guys played, right? And you kept crashing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Put your arms in. What? Put your arms in.
And then you go outside and there's like a couple different levels that you can go at. There's like some stairs that you can go up and a couple different platforms that you can view the crater.
Yeah, and they also had an Apollo test capsule outside on like right outside of the gift shop, which was really cool. And Nick was like, we weren't expecting this.
But when you're looking down in the crater too, they have like these little binocular things that you can look through, and there's like in the middle of the crater there's like a little spaceman set up.
It's life size, but it's so far away.
Yeah.
It looks like a tiny little thing, but
yeah.
The funny thing is too, it's like in the middle of nowhere. It's like all flat. You can't see it from far away, but it's like all flat, and then you get up to it and it's like this giant hole in the ground. Yeah. It's like, whoa, where did this come from? I think there were like baby cows crossing the road, like when we were driving.
Well, it's like in the middle of nowhere, and I remember when we pulled up, like it's kind of expensive to get in, and I remember the people before us like were really mad that it was expensive, and so they like left and they didn't see it, and I'm like, you came all the way out here?
Yeah, like you had to go off of like a main road, like a good ways. Like you drove all the way down here and you just turned around and left. Okay, weird, but.
So it was a fun stop on the way to Santa Fe.
When we were planning the trip, we found out that the original Meow Wolf was in Santa Fe, and that was like on our way back home, so we had to stop. It's called the House of Eternal Return, and the story of it is it's an old bowling alley, and they got all these artists together, and they all got like one room in this space, but they made it into a story, so you go in and it looks like a house, and you open the closet door and there's like a secret little hallway, and there's all these other wild magical rooms behind them. Or you open the dryer and it's like a tunnel into a different room. It's really, really cool. And there's a whole story, but we didn't really get to know the story as much as we did at Omega Mart.
Yeah, it's definitely not as big as Omega Mart. You can tell it's like the first one because it's a little like, it seems a little bit more like
disjointed. Like each room isn't necessarily tied together as well.
Yeah, and it's not as easier to follow the story and we also didn't have as much time there. Yeah. So maybe we'll go back and figure it all out. But,
yeah, maybe it's us. It's probably an us thing that we didn't get all the story and everything. But it was super cool, and I feel like it was really well done, especially when you consider that it's the first one in the series of all of these cool exhibit art spaces, right?
Yeah.
I really loved it. I am a super huge fan of recycling and like reusing stuff. And they have this one room that's like, they made this most beautiful room with like old CDs, and then they screwed a bottle cap in top of it and made this crazy pattern. And it's literally everything is recycled materials. I loved it. They also had a room that it had like all these mirrors, and they were projecting like different lights on the walls, and it was really cool. There were a bunch of them.
Yeah, they had a lot of rooms.
They had a lot of really cool rooms. We'll have to, hopefully we have some good footage to show.
I think they also had a room that had like a Super Nintendo on there or something like that.
Yeah.
And I want to say it had like a Super Game Boy or a Game Boy camera on there or something like that. That was cool.
They had a little arcade that had a claw machine. You could buy like special coins for that. I think we ended up buying them, but we kept the coins because we just wanted the coin instead. I think they had a bus, didn't they? That was like upside down or something.
Yeah, I think it was like vertical or something.
Yeah. There were just so many rooms. It's hard to like name them all, but they were all very cool. And I think we even had dinner there because we were like rushing to get there and we didn't have time to stop. And then they have this fun like cola drink that we got. I don't think we have any footage of it because we're in such a hurry.
So we stayed at the Buffalo Thunder Hotel. It's like a casino hotel thing. It was like a really pretty big hotel for like in the middle of Santa Fe. They had a pretty cool pool. It was actually two pools. There was one that was inside, and it had like, I remember it had like very like weird columns and structures in it. The columns actually like went into the pool. And then they had one outside too that was kind of more like a rectangle with a little island in the middle. Mm-hmm. And they had a hot tub and everything like that. So we didn't have a ton of time at the pool, but it was nice to get a little bit of swimming time in.
Yeah, always have to get that pool time in.
Yeah. So it was kind of a fun stop on the way home. Nothing too eventful, but it was cool to see another Meow Wolf, and like considering like the big reason for this whole trip was to go to Omega Mart. It was cool to also see the original and kind of see where it came from. And also exciting to see our first big meteor crater.
Yeah, and I want to say, I know there's a ton of stuff to do in Santa Fe, but we only had one day that we literally were kind of driving through. So we'll be back to see more cool stuff that they have there.